Alright everyone, welcome to Izzo ASMR 3. Today, as requested, we will be going over the League of Legends patch 10.9 notes. First of all, the Summer's Rift rank split ends soon, so on Sunday, May 3rd, the split will end, and split 1 will be over. We will move on to split 2. No one cares about this, but it has to be said. Okay, let's move on to the champions. Let's get to the meat of the patch notes, shall we? First, we have Bard. This is a little bit of a nerf. Bard has been journeying to a bunch of wins in the upper brackets of solo queue, so Riot Games is reducing some of his roaming prowess to lower his overall utility. So his movement speed is decreasing from 50% to 30%, decaying over 1.5 seconds. And the cooldown of his W is increasing by 2 seconds. Next, his E, Magical Journey, is increasing in cooldown by about 2 to 3 seconds per rank. Next champion is Cho Gath. Our Beast of the Void has been struggling in top lane, so we're buffing the ability that is specifically more utilized there to boost him through his journey to tanky Chozilla. His damage on his E, Vorpal Spikes, will be increasing at later ranks. Fiddlesticks is getting a little bit of a buff this patch. Just because he's a scary scarecrow with a scythe doesn't mean Fiddlesticks can't be helpful to his buddies in lane. We're giving Fiddlesticks a little extra damage to his primary in lane as a support ability, so he can more adequately help out his partner in fights. So the damage on his E, Reap, will be increasing by a slight amount at later ranks. Now on to Gnar. Despite the previous buffs over the past year, Gnar's continued to feel underwhelming in average games. We're cautiously bringing up Mega Gnar's potential for extended brawls, while keeping in mind his existing strength in other places. Shuggy M. His Q, Boulder Toss, in Mega form, is being increased the cooldown refund from 60% to 70%. And his E, Crunch, his Leap in Mega form, the damage will be increasing by 30 all the way up to 120 at the latest rank. Now for Karthus. He's been laying waste in the jungle, so we're nudging him back in line by targeting his ability to get around the map, while avoiding collateral to mid Karthus as much as possible. So, they're going to decrease his base movement speed by 10. Now for Kane. Our last few adjustments to Kane haven't pulled him out of the shadows as we'd expected, so we're adding a dash of spice to his overall game impact, from ganks to duels. We're hoping that the addition of minion damage on his Q will give Kane more positional flexibility, and that lower cooldowns and increased slows will help players capitalize on faster clearing and early skirmishes. The cooldown on Kane's Q, Reaping Slash, will be decreased. Plus, he gets bonus damage against monsters, which applies to minions. His W, Blade's Reach, the decaying slow will be increased by 20% from 70 to 90. Now for Lissandra. Given the Ice Queen isn't ever present in pro play anymore, and is still underperforming in all skill brackets, we're pulling back on one of the harsher nerfs we gave her when she was dominating the pro spotlight. Her Q, Ice Shard, the cooldown will be decreasing by about 2 seconds at early ranks. Now for Nami. Nami's been on the crest of a wave for a while now, so we're dampening some of her power by reducing some of the movement speed she ambiently grants to allies, while keeping her identity of an empowered healer. Her health will be decreasing by about 5, and her mana will be decreasing by about 10. Furthermore, her movement speed will be decreasing by about 15. That is, given to allies on her passive. Now for Quinn. It's been a while since we've given this mighty bird lady some love, especially amidst our recent buffs to her melee peers in top lane. We're focusing on her utility here, instead of damage, as a slight nod to the Sanguine Blade buff, as we predict she'll be taking it more often after this. Her Q's near sight duration is increasing by 0.15 seconds. Sorry, 0.25 seconds. Now for Trundle. Trundle's been clobbering all his opponents, regardless of health or risk, especially in pro play. We're reining in his ability to make others more vulnerable, so he has to fight fairly more often. His R cooldown, Subjugate, will be increasing by about 20 seconds at all ranks. Onto Wukong. We've seen players quickly and effectively harness the power of Wukong's rework, so we're further collaborating the monkey to bring him back in line. His armor will be decreasing by 3, his Q cool damage will be decreasing, and his W clone damage will also be decreasing. Now that we're done with the champions, why don't we move on to the items. There's just one item change this patch, and that will be to Sanguine Blade. Sanguine Blade hasn't seen much action lately, especially since it has a specific niche that not all game states call for. Coupled with its reduced effectiveness around allies, it can stand to be more generous with the stats it gives to the user. The cost of Sanguine Blade will be decreasing by 100 gold, and its attack damage will be increased by 5. No one cares about Aram. Essence Emporium will be returning. And now there's a plethora of bug fixes. Thank you, Riot Games. Finally, the FPX skins will be releasing this patch. These Power Rangers are going to be hitting the Rift soon. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a great day.